In the quiet village of Quantalu, a couple named Kofi and Nia lived a life marked by longing. Married for 15 years without children, their hearts ached with sorrow. The villagers whispered behind their backs, speculating what might have brought such a fate upon them. One day, consumed by despair, Kofi and Nia sought solace at the sacred lake Duma, where the goddess Zalira was said to dwell. Kneeling on the shore, they prayed fervently and offered gifts, shells, and a precious jug of honeyed wine, pleading with the goddess to grant them the joy of parenthood. That night, the goddess Zalira appeared to them in a dream. Her voice was calm yet powerful. "I have heard your prayers," she said. "I will grant you a daughter. But heed this, she will not be ordinary. Her beauty will captivate many, but also invite danger. Those who wish her harm will face dire consequences, losing their wealth, sanity, or even their lives. Her beauty will be both a blessing and a burden." At dawn, Kofi and Nia shared the goddess's words with each other. "We will finally have a child," Nia exclaimed, her face alight with joy. Kofi smiled and nodded. "We've waited so long for this. We will love and cherish her with all our hearts." The goddess's warning faded into the background as their anticipation grew. Soon, Nia became pregnant. When their daughter was born, they named her Malaika, meaning angel. With each passing year, Malaika's beauty became more radiant. Her skin glowed like sunlight, her smile could melt any heart, and her graceful figure was admired and whispered about throughout the village. By the time Malaika turned 18, her beauty had become legendary. Wherever she went, all eyes were drawn to her. Stories of her allure spread far beyond Quantalu. Her elegant form and enchanting laughter captivated all who met her. Suitors from distant lands came bearing gifts and promises, hoping to win her heart. Yet the goddess's prophecy lingered in the shadows. Neither Kofi, Nia, nor Malaika herself fully understood the trials her beauty would bring. At the bustling markets, merchants and buyers alike would pause, their tasks forgotten, just to catch a glimpse of her. Her striking figure, particularly her flawless, shapely form, drew admiration and awe. Men relentlessly vied for her attention, showering her with compliments and offers of wealth. They brought vibrant fabrics, dazzling jewels, and baskets of exotic fruits, but none of it moved Malaika. She saw through them. They were infatuated with her appearance, not her soul. At first, Malaika was confused. Was something wrong with her? Why didn't anyone care about her thoughts, dreams, or feelings? Over time, she realized the truth. Her beauty, while a source of wonder, had become her greatest loneliness. Men flocked to her like moths to a flame, yet none sought to truly know her. The goddess Zalira's prophecy was coming to pass. Her mesmerizing presence ensnared many admirers, but ill intent was met with misfortune. Despite this, men continued to pursue her, blind to the peril. Trapped in constant attention, Malaika yearned for a deeper connection, a love that cherished her spirit, not just her exterior. But with each passing day, such a bond seemed more elusive. One day, a young trader named Jabari arrived in Quantalu. Tall and strong, he carried himself with a quiet confidence that set him apart. Unlike the others, Jabari didn't bombard Malaika with compliments or lavish gifts. Instead, he went about his work with genuine kindness toward everyone. Malaika noticed him immediately. He didn't look at her like a trophy, and that intrigued her. Accustomed to men competing for her attention, she found his indifference refreshing. Jabari treated her as an equal, sparking her curiosity. One sunny day at the market, Jabari approached her. Instead of grand declarations, he simply smiled and asked, "How are you today?" Malaika was taken aback. No one had ever asked her such a simple yet profound question. Well, she replied hesitantly, unsure of what to make of him. He didn't mention her beauty or figure. Instead, he asked about her family, her life, and what truly made her happy. For the first time, Malaika felt joy in a conversation. It was different, genuine. Someone finally saw her as a person, not a prize. Yet doubts lingered. Could Jabari truly be different? Or was he merely pretending, like so many before him? That evening, alone with her thoughts, Malaika replayed their conversation in her mind. Her parents' words echoed in her memory. "You are special, Malaika. The goddess herself blessed us with you. Never forget that." Her parents had always reminded her of her uniqueness, of the divine gift she was. Yet, as she grew older, that blessing felt more like a curse. While other young women her age married and found happiness, she remained surrounded by suitors who saw only her appearance. Men admired her figure, particularly her striking curves, but none sought her heart. Malaika watched as her friends found love, while she was left with empty promises. She longed for something real, for someone who would love her for who she truly was. And then she realized what she must do. The answers she sought could only come from the goddess Selira, the one who had blessed her existence. If anyone could guide her, it was she. Malaika needed clarity, to see who truly cared for her and who did not. She yearned to understand who would stay by her side when her beauty faded into memory. With newfound determination, Malaika decided to return to the sacred river Duma. She would seek counsel from the goddess, hoping she might help her find the love she had longed for, a love that cherished her soul rather than her appearance. Her beauty, admired by many, had failed to bring her happiness. Malaika sought something real, something eternal. And so, with a heavy heart and a fragile hope, she took the first step on her journey to uncover the truth. She returned to the riverbank, where her parents had once prayed for her birth. Tears streamed down her face as she knelt by the water, calling out to the goddess Selira, who had blessed her family. "Please, goddess," she sobbed, "make me ordinary. I no longer wish for men to desire me only for my body. I want to know who truly loves me for who I am, not for my form or my beauty." The river's surface trembled, and a soft, luminous mist rose from the water. Selira appeared before her, calm, majestic, her eyes filled with understanding, her voice a perfect blend of gentleness and power. "Your request is difficult, but it is wise," said the goddess. "Tomorrow your beauty will fade, and only those with true love in their hearts will remain by your side." Malaika nodded, feeling a mix of fear and relief. She knew the goddess's decree would change her life forever, but it was the only way to find the truth. The next morning, Malaika awoke to a sharp pain coursing through her body. At first, it was a faint weakness, but it soon grew into a profound sickness. Within days, her radiant figure began to wane. The curves that had once drawn so many admiring eyes gradually disappeared. Her glowing face became plain, blending in with those of others. As Malaika's appearance changed, so too did the people's attitude toward her. The men who had once lined up at her doorstep bearing gifts stopped coming. Their adoration vanished, replaced by indifference. Some even returned to reclaim what they had given. "I no longer have any interest in you," one said coldly as he took back the necklace he had offered. Another retrieved an expensive fabric, hoping to regain what he had spent in his pursuit of her attention. Malaika watched with a heavy heart as those who had once showered her with admiration left her life, taking their offerings with them. Though painful, the experience brought a strange sense of clarity. These men had never truly loved her. They had only been enchanted by her beauty, not her soul. Now, with her beauty gone, Malaika waited to see who would remain by her side. Each day, she grew weaker. The illness left her body frail and her face unremarkable. She was no longer the woman who had once captivated the entire village. The men who had once vied for her attention had vanished, leaving behind only broken promises. Yet, amid the absence of admirers, one person stayed. Jabari, unlike the others who had long since abandoned her, continued to visit. He brought no extravagant gifts, no grand gestures. Instead, he arrived with small but thoughtful offerings. Healing herbs to ease her pain, a warm blanket for the cool nights, and nourishing food when she lacked the strength to cook. But more than anything, Jabari gave her something far more valuable, his unwavering kindness and companionship. He sat with her, speaking to her as he always had, as if time had not touched the beauty that once dazzled the village. Though Malaika felt tired and frail, she eagerly awaited Jabari's visits. He seemed unbothered by the absence of her once remarkable appearance. Instead, he asked her about her family, her thoughts, her dreams. He made her laugh when the weight of her burdens grew unbearable and listened intently when she shared her fears. Jabari was the only one who did not look at her with pity or judgment. One evening, as they sat together outside her modest home, the warm hues of the sunset casting long shadows across the quiet village, Malaika could no longer hold back her feelings. Jabari, she began softly, her voice trembling with uncertainty, why do you still come to me? I am no longer the woman everyone admired. My beauty is gone. You could leave like the others. Jabari's eyes met hers, filled with gentle sincerity, and he smiled. Malaika, I never came to you for your beauty. I came for who you are, your kindness, your resilience, your heart. Those things haven't changed and never will. Tears welled in Malaika's eyes as his words reached her soul. For the first time, she felt truly seen, not for her fading beauty, but for who she was inside. Jabari extended his hand, his palm warm against hers. I don't care if your beauty fades or returns. What matters to me is you, Malaika, the person, not the appearance. I will stay by your side, no matter what. Could this be the love she had prayed for all her life? The love that would endure, even when her beauty was no longer her adornment? As days turned into weeks, Malaika felt the stirrings of something new, something real. In Jabari's steadfast presence, she began to believe that she had found her answer. However, Jabari's presence remained unwavering. He continued to visit, not out of duty, but because he genuinely cared. To Malaika, his steadfast devotion became an anchor, grounding her in a world that had shifted so dramatically. In Jabari's unyielding gaze, she found a love that transcended the fleeting charm of youth, a love that saw her for who she truly was. As the bustling gatherings of the village grew less frequent, Malaika noticed subtle yet inevitable changes. Friends who had once filled her days with laughter and companionship began to fade away. Soon, she realized she was left with no one but Jabari. Even Abena, her closest childhood friend, had grown distant. At first, Malaika couldn't understand why, until whispers began to reach her ears. Abena was trying to win Jabari's heart behind her back. Malaika refused to believe it at first. Abena had always been there for her, or so she thought. But the truth soon became undeniable. Abena, captivated by Jabari's kindness and loyalty, saw an opportunity now that Malaika was no longer the village's renowned beauty. One evening, as Malaika and Jabari sat together under the ancient baobab tree, she summoned the courage for a candid conversation. Jabari, she began softly, her voice trembling. I've heard rumors about Abena. They say she's trying to win your heart. Is it true? Jabari met her gaze calmly, his smile reassuring. Yes, it's true, he said. She has approached me many times with gifts and kind words, hoping to charm me. Malaika's heart tightened. She had already lost so much, and now even her closest friend had betrayed her. And what did you tell her? She whispered, barely audible. Jabari gently took her hand. I told her that my heart belongs to someone with a kind and resilient spirit, someone who has faced life's trials with grace and strength. I told her that person is you. Tears welled up in Malaika's eyes, but they weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of gratitude and love. Despite everything, Jabari had remained faithful. He loved her not for the beauty that once drew admiration, but for who she truly was. You're the only one who stayed with me, Malaika said quietly. Even my friends have turned away. I thought they cared about me, but now I see they only love my appearance. Jabari nodded, his gaze steady. True friends, like true love, don't fade when appearances change. Abena and the others may have left, but that doesn't matter. What matters is who you are, and I love you, Malaika, for that. As the days passed, Malaika saw how the women who once called themselves her friends no longer visited or even greeted her at the market. One by one, they abandoned her, leaving only Jabari by her side. Yet, Despite the betrayals, Malaika's love for Jabari grew stronger, as did her gratitude for the man who cherished her soul over her fading beauty. One night, Malaika had a vivid dream. She stood on the riverbank, the water shimmering under the moonlight, and before her appeared the goddess Zalima, radiant and serene. "Malaika," the goddess said, her voice soft and wise, "you have found what you sought. Jabari is the one who truly loves you. He has proven his heart is pure and that he sees you as you are." Malaika smiled in her dream, a warmth spreading through her chest. She woke with a lightness she hadn't felt in months, her heart brimming with love and certainty. Jabari was her rock, her true companion, and her love for him would never waver. Looking at the luminous figure before her, Malaika whispered, "Goddess, I've never felt such peace and love in my life." The goddess smiled warmly. "You deserve it, Malaika. Your journey has been long and fraught with trials, but true love has found you. Your heart is now full, and your burden is lifted." Malaika felt a radiant warmth flow through her body. Glancing down, she saw her figure regain its vitality. The strength that had been taken from her returned, and the illness that had once overshadowed her began to fade. The curves she had once resented slowly returned, but this time she embraced them. They no longer defined her. She was free from the chains they once symbolized. The next morning, Malaika woke fully renewed. She stood before the mirror and saw her body restored to its natural state. Her curves had returned, her face glowed with health, and most importantly, her illness had vanished. A profound sense of peace washed over her. She understood that her worth no longer depended on her appearance. She had found someone who valued her inner beauty above all else. With Jabari by her side, she could finally be herself. Word of Malaika's miraculous recovery and radiant renewal quickly spread throughout the village. No longer seen as merely a symbol of beauty, she became a figure of resilience, wisdom, and love. Jabari, who had stood by her through every trial, admired her transformation but loved her just the same as before. To him, Malaika had always been beautiful in spirit, whether frail or strong. With her health restored, there was only one thing left to do: unite their lives in marriage. With the joyful blessing of her parents, Kofi and Nia, preparations for Malaika and Jabari's wedding began. Overwhelmed with happiness, her parents could hardly contain their delight. They had prayed for this moment, and now it had come to pass. On the wedding day, the village came alive with music, laughter, and vibrant celebrations. People from near and far gathered to witness the union of Malaika and Jabari. The air was filled with the aroma of roasted meats and fresh palm wine, and the rhythmic beat of drums echoed through the surrounding forests. Jabari's family traveled from the neighboring village of Marufai, bringing baskets of gifts, exquisite fabrics, sparkling jewelry, and other treasures. They had heard of Malaika's resilience and grace and welcomed her into their family with open arms. Jabari's parents beamed with pride, knowing their son had chosen a woman of strength and a heart as vast as the sky. Malaika stood in her wedding attire, feeling a sense of pride and joy she had never experienced before. Her parents, Kofi and Nia, stood beside her, their faces glowing with happiness. Nia wiped away a tear, embracing her daughter. "You are everything we ever dreamed of, Malaika," she whispered. "We are so proud of you." Kofi gave her a warm smile. "Jabari is a good man. He will cherish you, and together, you will build a beautiful life." The ceremony took place beneath the great baba tree, the very spot where Malaika and Jabari had spent countless evenings together. The village elders blessed their union, and the crowd erupted in applause as the couple exchanged their vows. Jabari took Malaika's hands, his eyes filled with love. "I promise to honor and cherish you for a lifetime," he said softly. "Not just for your beauty, but for your kind heart." Malaika smiled through joyful tears. "And I will love you, Jabari, for your kindness and unwavering strength. You saw me when no one else did, and for that, I will always be grateful." When their marriage was officially announced, a grand celebration began. Villagers danced, feasted, and laughed late into the night. Malaika's beauty still captivated many, But now everyone understood that her true radiance came from within. The love she shared with Jabari was undeniable proof of that. As evening turned to night and stars filled the sky, Malaika and Jabari sat by the river, watching the water shimmer in the moonlight. Surrounded by family and friends, their hearts were full of joy. With the blessings of her parents and gifts from Jabari's family, Malaika knew she was stepping into a new chapter, one filled with love, strength, and self-discovery. Sitting hand in hand, Malaika whispered, "This is everything I prayed for." Jabari smiled, pulling her closer. "We have everything, Malaika." They kissed tenderly, their love unshaken by the trials they had endured. But Malaika's story did not end with her marriage to Jabari. Her beauty, which once drew admiring gazes, continued to enchant many. Suitors still came, driven by greed and desire, seeing her as a prize to be won rather than a person to be cherished. These men, blinded by their egos, underestimated Malaika's strength and the unbreakable bond she shared with Jabari. Together, they faced every challenge, proving that true love is not fleeting infatuation, but a force that withstands all. Their fame spread far beyond the village, and some men, captivated by Malaika's allure, tried to win her heart with grand displays of wealth, offering treasures Jabari could never provide. Others boasted of their achievements, promising lives of luxury. They believed their efforts could sway Malaika and make her leave her husband. What they did not know was the existence of an ancient curse that protected those with pure intentions. One by one, those who sought Malaika out of selfishness or lust met with dire consequences. Some saw their fortunes vanish overnight, their riches dissipating as quickly as their egotistical ambitions had risen. Others lost their most prized possessions or their sanity. Some ventured deep into the forest in search of magical means to win Malaika's heart, never to return. Whispers in the village grew louder, spreading warnings far and wide. Malaika's beauty, admired by all, was not to be coveted by those driven by selfish desires. Men who pursued her with impure motives were doomed to misfortune and a lifetime of unrest. Over time, even distant villagers learned the lesson. Malaika's beauty was a treasure to be respected, not a prize to be claimed. Her story became a powerful reminder that while beauty may captivate the eyes, it is the purity of the heart that brings true fulfillment. Malaika's striking appearance and radiant charm had once made her the object of desire for many, but it was her soul that captured Jabari's unwavering love. Together, they showed the village that love built on mere physical attraction is fragile, while love rooted in mutual respect and deep connection endures. As Malaika and Jabari built their life together, their bond grew stronger with each passing day. They shared everything: joys, struggles, laughter, and tears. Their relationship was defined not by Malaika's beauty, but by the strength of their hearts and the trust they placed in each other. Together, they overcame every challenge, their love serving as an unshakable foundation. The villagers often retold the story of Malaika and Jabari's love, using it as a lesson for all. Physical beauty, though alluring, is fleeting and can be dangerous when sought for shallow reasons. True love and sincerity must come from within, not from surface-level desires or greed. Those who chase only appearances will always come up empty-handed, while those who value the soul will find true happiness. Malaika and Jabari went on to have several children, raising them with the same values that had bound them together: kindness, loyalty, and a love that transcended appearances. Their home was filled with laughter and joy. Their children grew up listening to the story of how their parents found true love in a world often enamored with outward beauty. And so, Malaika and Jabari lived long and happily, their love deepening with each passing year. It was a love that no longer depended on appearances, but was built on the profound connection they shared. Their story became an eternal reminder that while beauty may catch the eye, it is love that captures the soul.